Really just poking my head around, moving things around, shit like that. Set this camera up a little better. I know I never announced going live, but I never know when I'm going to be in here. So we might even can stack some rocks today too. I've been working on that back waterfall area back there. That's really what I've been trying to focus on is this creek and trying to figure out how I want the welcome. Appreciate you stopping in. I'm just decided to go live on Yellow Skunk here instead of the Pond Garden one, just because there's more people on here. And we can transfer this video over there. Pooter says he's hungry. Welcome, Lauren. Good morning. Appreciate it. Yeah, everything's looking good this morning. Crystal clear pond. Pooter's just sitting there waiting on some nuggets. And Cooter and Scooter are probably behind that log there. Yep, I see one of them. And Digger. He was out this morning, but he's a fast mover. Yeah, he's back up underneath he's up in that cave back there. See his butt? Well, it's not a very good picture because the Monsteros. Hello, hello, hello. I'll put my glasses on so I can see. Jay, hello. I'm just walking around the garden. I was thinking about stacking a few rocks here after I walked around a little bit. Got some stuff we're hunting through right now. I've got, actually, this is some 1995 AK-47. Hello. Welcome. I'm just walking around the garden. And I'm running through some of THC Garage sent me this Toxic Red, Bronx times Panama Red, and then I've got some OK Calyx. This is his Legendary Cherry. These are Legendary Cherries. So I did start these at different times, so that's the difference in height. I'm kind of bad at starting that. Sometimes I'll just pop a seed because I just want to pop them, you know what I mean? Just want to see what we get. These are looking really good. I think the soil, we're going to have to top off because it's shrinking so much. I mean, like we're getting a lot of nutrient breakdown. What's up, Riz? Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, we're just walking through the garden, but we're going to, we've got some, actually got some stuff from OK Calyx. Sent us some Bukashi and IMO 3 and 4 mix. Then I've got my own. This is my own IMO 4 and 5 mix. This is old. This is probably over a year old. This walnut shell. Just biology rich. Stays moist. But this is what we top off with. Very, you can see that it's really aggregated. Like, you know, it's pull those through that off. Probably top it off with a Timothy hay, maybe, and use what we would use to top off our IMO. But I'm not a fan of it because it really takes a long time for Timothy hay to break down. It does eventually, but it is good aeration. You know, they're hollow. Eventually they break down. So Fazoli. Yeah, we're just walking around in here this morning. Maybe gonna stack some rocks on the new creek. I'm just doing a quick walk around. Plants are looking really good. These are Luna. These are from Luna Whitcomb. These are oh, that is their lunar cheese. That's a lunar cheese from Luna Whitcomb. Really beautiful plant. That one there is from OK Calyx. That's his Orangeline. That's oh shit. That's Orangeline is Cherry Grande times Peach Pistols. Then we've got over here, this is another one from Luna. This is her Raspberry Deadhead. And I've got two different phenos here. I've got this one and this one. Look at the difference in size. And I've got the same over there. Look at it. Same one. I've got that one and that one look the same, and that one look the same. Same batch of seeds. So, what's up, Green Man? Yeah, the lunar cheese. We're testing that out now. I'm excited about it because I asked her. I was like, "What's some of your favorite stuff?" And she was like, "I'll send you some of my favorites." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So she sent me that and the raspberry deadhead. I've also got some other stuff from her. Her cheese line is coming soon. Let's go over here and look at the. If y'all missed, these are the outdoors. These are Legendary Cherry from OK Calyx. These are Runts times Panama Red. This is Toxic Red from THC Garage. Then I've got some old school 1995 AK-47 times AK-47. This is from Sanctuary Seed Bank. No, I haven't started selling seeds yet. I haven't released. Actually, to be honest with you, in this right there, you see that little guy getting ready to pop out of there? Oh, there's another one. Those are what we just got out of ours. So those are the first to pop. Actually, we need to water that, to be honest with you. So, I need to steal a little water cooler. I don't need much though. You know what? I always keep a towel underneath these guys because it helps them keep that moisture retention. I'll just pour it till this soaks it up. Then you set the cow pot on top of that towel, and it'll keep your pot wet, keep the moisture longer. Anyway, just a little trick if you're in a situation like what I'm in, anyway. This is APU soil, APSU. Green diesel poly. Thin mint. All right, nice. Appreciate it, Josh. Thank you. That's my name, if you didn't know. My name's Josh. Josh is thirsty. We're gonna stack some rocks here in a second. We are going to stack some. I brought in a bunch that I think might work. We threw in some clay down here, but really what I'm working on. Let me don't walk away from my freaking other project first, so you don't get sidetracked. This ADHD going on. I'm good at multitasking. Just half the task gets done sometimes. Alright. So what I wanted to show you guys is that what I'm working on here is where the creek is going to come into play here. And what I'm thinking is that we've got the hole for the hose right there. So the hose, the pump, let me back out here a little bit so we can see. I'm standing in the pond right now, but the pond wall is only two rocks high. No, excuse me, 4 rocks high. It's 1, 2 underneath there, 3, 4 on top. So we've got a deep, it's about maybe 4 to 5 inches around that, but it's also setting up off the floor so water can flow underneath. So floor is on cobblestone. You can go back and look at the videos. So this way we have access. The water will be able to flow underneath the pond. Roots will be able to get down into here, run underneath. Hopefully not endanger cracking the, sometimes roots can crack concrete. This is why we let this completely cure 100%. That's why I haven't messed with it in over a week and a half. You can see the color has changed. We're just about fully cured in the concrete. Oh yeah, the fish are gonna love it. That's all we're gonna put in here is fish. So this is a food garden that we're building, and the food garden is a medicine garden as well. So we call that the medicine garden, but this is going to be a medicine, because food is medicine as well. So what we're trying to do is grow nutrient dense food, just like we grow our medicine. And what we're going to try and pull off here is somewhat of a vortex type flowing system, creek, stream, kind of biodynamics. If you know anything about biodynamics or anything like that, we're going for kind of like the 4th phase of water. And what I mean by that is we can actually, I think you can actually structure water through natural vortex swirls. So if you go to the mountains and you just see all this in the river and the creeks and rivers that flow through, in some places these rapids can create these vortexes and these swirls at the bottom of these waterfalls that can, I believe, structure and what I mean by structure is really, water is very complicated, but it's the molecules can get, they're unstructured, they're everywhere. They're just picture marbles, just bing, 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 just going everywhere. Now imagine if we could structure those marbles in a way and form them in a way that actually gives that water a structured form. It's still flowing, but the molecules are in line to be absorbed, and the oxygen, and it's just it's so extremely complicated. When you listen to these scientists talk about it, like Gerald Pollack in the 4th phase of water, and like Leighton Morrison talking about it, and there's just so many different scientists out there dropping knowledge, and it all stems back to, like, the dynamics of nature and how like these natural forces can turn water and turn nature. Like I'm witnessing it right now. I mean, look, there's grass literally growing right out of the clay, right out of the red clay. So I just brought in the red clay, laid it on top, and boom, we get grass just popping everywhere. Look, green popping everywhere. And that's seed. And the reason we did it wasn't there before, it was there, it's always been there, but we gave it the right conditions in this room. It took a couple of days, and as soon as I brought that clay in from that cold outside, boom, life sprung. And it was all about the conditions, the environment that we brought that clay into. So it allowed that seed to pop. So what I'm trying to do is create a waterfall that structures water, that pulls oxygen and a lot of it into the water, which then will be dispersed and whipped up over the creek walls as the water flows. And those roots, all the grass roots that are in the creek system will be pulling that water up into the root system, which that water is now oxygenated. And this is the reason why that the grass is so green, everything grows super green. Um, it's the oxygen that we're creating in the water. So everywhere you see that ripple, we're pulling air in. We're pulling air in right here. You know, where it drops in at. Look at the water, the air bubbles. See, that's all oxygenated water. So what I'm trying to do is get that same oxygenation to dump in, and when we dump it in, we're going to swirl it. And when I say swirl it, I'm going to create. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to build up this wall here. We're going to stack rocks, boom, 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 and then we're going to bring that hose up around the back and point it and angle it down into this right here, and we're going to create a pool right here. That pool's going to have a wall behind it, and it's going to swirl around. We're going to push that water in. It's going to swirl around. In order to get out of that swirl, it's going to have to come out this way, and then hit another wall on this side and swirl. And then it's going to have to drop down into the creek as it's swirling, and then continue its journey on down. So I'm going to be I'm basically vortexing. Have you ever seen a vortex tea brewer? Like, it's pretty cool how they spin that water and just pulling oxygen into that water, and it's oxygenating, and you're talking about dissolved oxygen, and it gets crazy. But the simple basics of it is that we need to create a waterfall, and the more falls we get, and the more we can spin that water as it's falling, the more air we're going to pick up. Kind of like a tornado. So that's what we're going to try and pull off over here. And it should be fun. I think we can do it. I've got a pretty good picture in my head. And once I get a picture in my head, I can pretty much put it together. So what the next step is going to be is me to stack these rocks. Let me see. Without you looking at my ass the whole time. Is that crooked? There we go. Alright. So let me take the glasses off now. So what we're doing, I've already got these. You can see the level. The creek is going to be way up here. The creek is probably going to start at this line here. So we're going to, and then it's going to be a deep channel. So it's going to come in through here and hit, come out, hit, come out, hit, and then boom, into the creek. So first things first is that we've got to build the structure almost like a scaffolding. You know, we've got to build the scaffolding up to this point. Once we get up to this point, with the scalpel, and then we can eyeball where we want that water to come in. We're going to want that water to come in right here. And I'm going to need to build that shelf that's going to come out, and then another couple of rocks. What we'll have to do is concrete each rock. So it won't be these rocks, but I can just take one for example, and I can place it here. But I have to have a brace here to hold that while the concrete dries. So we have to build this up to the point where we're going to use this to hold the rocks that we need to divert that water. And that's kind of the idea anyway. So I had some rocks here. These big jewels. Sometimes they go together. Sometimes you just got to keep playing with them. Well, none of this is going to be seen. All of this is going to be covered up. So let me, where is this? There it goes. There it goes. Probably not going to have enough rocks today to finish what I want to do. So that's kind of where we're at. If you see, we're going to move this on up. Mortar and cement is, well, we'd be in trouble, let's say, if it wasn't environmentally friendly. Everybody on the planet would be in trouble. Since that's all we use to build anything. And plants, no. Mortar and cement is toxic when it's wet and not when it's not cured properly. If it's not cured, then it is toxic. You don't want to be around. You don't want to plant inside concrete. It'll die. It won't grow. Once it's cured, you can see that concrete is completely cured. It's nice, bright white, grayish color. And once it's that color, it is completely safe, non-toxic. You can get it wet. You can do anything you want to it. It's good to go once it cures. Like all this over here is cured. Everything over there, was cured long before we see. Once we get this in, if you're wondering, I'll show you. So, if you were going to keep fish or anything like that, you would want to put pond shield on. This is a non-toxic epoxy liner, basically. It's just a two-part epoxy. And this is what coats the pond and the creek. Completely fish safe, every animal safe. It's, you can see it. It's, look at the color difference. The color in the rock right there, and then the color of that makes it shiny. Yeah, makes it shiny, makes it kind of pretty. Makes it look kind of wet, but it's completely sealed. That's what I'm talking about right there, curing compound. There's, you know, the pond shield is, I'm just using straight masonry mix. It's a type S. Type S masonry mix is what you want to use. It'll cure completely on its own. In here, it takes a while. It takes a while to cure because it's moist in here. Humidity's high, temperature's high, so, but it does cure over about a week's time. And once it cures, you're good to go. You don't have to worry at all. Now, will it hold water? Yeah, it'll hold water, but over time, the water breaks down the concrete, just like you would see on a bridge. They have to go repair bridges all the time, you know. But I do have, you know, everything here, it does basically have the cobblestone underneath of it and the cobblestones around it. That's giving it the kind of rebar type structure. So it's not all just concrete, it is rock as well. So I've basically run out of the big rock that I need to continue on up, and we're not going to stack little rocks on top of those big rocks. That wouldn't work too well. I just wanted something that's level, like this is level all the way up to here. That's probably not going to work. This would work somewhere over here though. Right there. Yeah, the rock source is luck stone. I got a luck stone about 10 minutes from me. Luck stone has, and the reason I use luck is because they separate all these rocks by size. So you can go in and get browns from 0, which is like dust almost, all the way up to 10s and 12s, which are huge, big boulders. And then they have each one of them separated so you don't have to sit there and waste your time. Now I do go there and just for about an hour, I'll pick out about, I'm usually about 600, 700 pounds. So when I get on the scale, my truck is like 5,900 pounds. When I come off, it's like 6,400, usually, something like that. And that's just the back of my truck, not full, just back like towards the tailgate area. Usually costs about 40 bucks, 35 to 40 bucks to get that much. Gives me enough to play with. You know, I still have all of this, but none of this is big enough. Most of this stuff was gotten for the creek. This is what we're going to use to build the creek. And we're just going to stack rocks on top, throw mortar down, stack rocks, throw mortar. When we get up to the point where we want to start the creek, that's when we'll take 2 rocks on top and separate them, concrete those in, and then create a pool with mason mix. And then we'll just seal the pool with the pond shield, just like we did over here. And that'll be fun. But the biggest thing right now is the waterfall. That is the most important part of this grow, hands down. If we can nail that waterfall, we're still going to go up some with that, but right there is where the water is going to come in at. And then we're going to stack a couple rocks, create a little mountain, come back down. But right there is where we're going to put the hose and then stack rocks around the hose. This way we get a nice tight seal. Well, not really seal, but a nice place for that hose to slide in. We got to make sure that hose doesn't slide out because there's pressure behind that water, you know what I mean? So we got to get that hose to get down in there where it will wedge itself in there and it won't be blown out by the hose or by the water pressure. We learned that the hard way over here. Turn the pump on and it said psh. But hey, those are live and learn lessons. Check out the Monstera new leaf coming. New leaf will be here soon, ready to take up more space. Like this thing doesn't already take up, but it loves sunlight, or it loves the lights. I'll tell you that. It is the Monstera. Yeah, it's inside. Yeah, I'm inside my garage. Some people don't believe me. I'm actually inside. It's, yeah, I'll show you. There's outside. There's inside. Got a mini split. Got dehumidifier. One dehumidifier, mini split. The mini split takes out, water out of the air as well. So it's kind of like having two dehus. But one dehu is dumping water back into the pond. And yes, it is clean water. You do check it with water tests. And the only type of really water test I do is the basic, water test, drinking water test. I'll show you. The water test that we use. We got to go back here to our little cave. So don't tell nobody where we're at. I'll tell my wife anyway. Where all our goodies are. Look at this thing. What the fuck am I gonna do with all this? I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna have to cut it out sooner or later, or tie it to the wall or something. Where's my water tub? Here we are. Drinking water. This does everything. It checks your pH, checks the zinc, copper, lead, mercury, nitrate, all that stuff. $29.95 on Amazon. Check it every once in a while, but not really too often, to be honest with you. I just keep an eye out on the pond and the fish and how everything's growing, and the shrimp are molting. Look at the shrimp shells. Those are shrimp shells from all the shrimpies. And then the algae, look at the shrimp. Is what they're feeding, but then also, usually you can see the roots, the algae grow on the roots. But this right here is great soil food, microbe food. This is what worms love algae. They will run through that so fast. All the isopods will run through it. Great soil building material. It's photosynthetic. It creates oxygen. You know what I'm saying? And oxygen is good. You can see it bubbling up. All that is stuff growing. My wife calling me. Yeah, that's the algae that is photosynthesizing light and creating oxygen. pushing those bubbles up. Pretty cool. And we can pull the algae out. Look at all the shrimp. Good lord. I just noticed. Look at all of them. Then if you're wondering, I'm in Virginia. Tidewater area. 757. Let me show you. So we got one of these. If y'all don't know what this is the Easy EC stick. That's what I like to call it, but it measures a couple different things. Measures your EC, CF, and your ppms. So if this reads anything, like say for instance I was going to put it in some JLF. I'll show you. It's my JLF bucket. This is the fuck it bucket. This has got all kinds of shit. But this will tap out this meter here. Guaranteed. Ding 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 ding. Tapping out. Just see it? Alright. That tells me that son of a bitch is hot. Hot as fire. And if we were to take that liquid there in a strong dose, like if we were to put like an ounce of that in a gallon of water and go put it on our soil microbes would probably burn instantly. They would just be poof, gone. I'd kill them. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. I think I have water in there. But if I dilute that to a spot where it doesn't have anything, but if it'll read, if that meter was tapping out up here, we need it down here in the 1 to 2 to 3 zone. And I go off of my light intensity. So if my light ppfd is around 550, then my EC should be around 550 to 600. So the light intensity is going to dictate how strong my fertilizer or my ferment is when I'm feeding my soil. This is going to guarantee that I don't damage or hurt any of the microbes that are in my soil because they're already used to the amount of nutrient that's down there. So if I'm going to test my water over here with this, it's not going to read anything. Like nothing. Oops. So it's reading 0. And that's a good thing. Let's see if I can get it better over here in the creek. See, it's not going to read anything. There's nothing in the water. That's clean. Clean water. There's no high nitrate. There's no high gases, exchange, anything like that in that water. It's going to damage my fish, damage my plants. It's oxygenated, so it's wicking oxygen up into the soil where the worms and everything can thrive. So everything needs air. You know what I mean? Everything, even down to the bacteria, they all need air. And so the more air we can push into that soil, the better. And how do we do that? Well, I think we can do it if we can oxygenate that water, kind of like you would do a compost tea. You're oxygenating it, and then you're going to water that compost tea that you've grown microbes in, because those microbes love that damn oxygenated water. The same principles happening here. Same principle. The more we can get, the better off we're going to be. So that is why I'm building another one, because I've kind of, in my head, I've got like where if I can get that natural vortex spinning water, pulling that out just like you would a brew tea, and get that same oxygenated water flowing through a creek system that is wicking, where the roots and the sand and silt are wicking that water up into your soil beds for your plant roots to get to, it's game over. You won't have to do anything but maintain and steward the bed. We steward everything. What I mean by that is cut the grass, pull algae out of the creek by hand, you know, uh, just basic stuff that you would do to any type of thing that you would have inside or outside. You got to steward it, or else it can get out of hand real quick. Shit can go awry real quick. Look at our aloe plant. Great. See them throwing off little babies down there. So if you don't have an aloe plant, I recommend you get one. That's cool. Good for a lot of things. You just chip a piece off of there, take a leaf, and suck them in your little, put a couple drops in your water. Soak your paper towel in that water that's got the aloe in it. And then put your seed in the paper towel. You maybe add a little humic acid. A little, just, take some good compost or good soil and put it in a bucket. Put some water in it. Blast it with some water. Strain and drain. And what you got there is a little bit of humic and fulvic acid. You can put in your soil that the plants would love. All this stuff is it's pretty basic when you start to think about it. I mean, it's extremely complicated for sure, but it's the basics are pretty simple when you boil it down to that. So like the poop loop, that's how I remember everything is poop loop. Dr. Elaine Ingham, rest her soul, she taught me the poop loop, and that triggered something in my head. I was like, wait a minute, that makes complete sense. I'm gonna clean my lens here real quick. I was like, the poop loop, everything eats and shits and wants to breed, and everything that comes out as a task, as soon as it comes out, it usually wants to eat, then it wants to learn how to do things, but then it wants to reproduce, and then it wants to die. So that's pretty much the cycle of life. My whole objective when in my head was, let's create an atmosphere where everything has a chance to thrive, everything has a place to set up shop. The microbes have a place, the isopods have a place, the lizards have, the whole soil food web, everything in that soil food web needs to have an opportunity to live and survive and have a home and build a home and reproduce and then go out and eat and have food. And the only way to do that is with space. Like, we need space. And this, you can do this, and probably, I know you can do it in a smaller space. Like, this is not that big. This is only, 6.5 feet wide, 7 feet wide by 12 feet long, 12 and a half-ish. But it's not, it's not that big. You could go smaller. You would just need the water. You got to have the water source. Everything needs water. You got to have light. You got to have air. You got to have the environment. So you need the dehue, the mini split, the lights, the pump for the pond, the fans. Other than that, you want to set it's all about feeding the soil after that. Like stewarding the bed, cutting the grass, keeping everything in line and check. Like, you don't want this stuff going crazy, so you just pluck some of it off when it goes crazy. And then chop and drop this right back in the soil. So all that stuff we dropped in has just been completely disposed of and turned back into. Let's go a little deeper here. I don't like touching it, but it's okay. See, I got pea gravel in there for aeration. You don't have to go far for the worms. So it's really just about giving them a place. I mean, look how moist that soil stays, and it's all coming from the creek. It's being whipped. The roots are pulling it in. Oops. Got springtails, road beetles. It just, when you look at it, it just crawls. Those guys are creating air channels, aerating the soil for me, breaking everything down, returning those nutrients back to the soil where the plants can get access to it. So once it gets into this, then it's all about breaking this down to get back to the form that this came from, to where that can uptake what's in this. So the poop loop is kind of the same thing when it comes to the plant. This is the old stump. It's being decomposed right now. I can feel it. It's being decomposed by the critters. Here's the other one that's being, I just laid this Kenny Pure bag on it. This will help, look at that, just completely decompose the old roots. And we're just going to leave that there until it completely breaks down. This takes time, but that's all we got. We got time. I'm not rushing anything here, but it's happened a whole lot faster than I thought it would. It really did. It happened a lot. I mean, this shit happens quick. I mean, this is what this is for here. This is my intelligent tillage tool. It's just a piece of, I don't know what, but I found it. This is intelligent tillage here. This is how I till. Just that right there is a till. That right there is a till. I'm creating air. I'm breaking that seal kind of, but I'm not tilling it up. Kind of like broad forking outside. I'm just going to move it, and that's going to create that hole. Kind of, if you play golf, you know that they have to aerate greens because people are walking on them all day. The type of grass is there. Then they fill them with sand. They put sand there to keep them from filling back up. This aerates the green so that grass can grow green, strong and healthy. Same problem. I'm adding air to the soil so that the biology, and when I do twist that soil like that, it'll take them hours probably to put it back together. I mean, it's right back. I think it helps. It doesn't hurt. But I'm not digging root balls up and tilling the ground, not running my hand down through there and tilling everything up. That's breaking connections. This is creating air channels. And air channels are very important. This is going to help moisture retention. It's going to help water go down in there. It's going to help the biology turn all that organic matter and start working it, turning it into viable soil. So it's really it really helps, I think, when you're, especially in a small pot. You're in a small pot that can go hydrophobic really quick if you're not, giving it water every day. If you don't have like a drip system in it or watering it every day, it's very easy to go hydrophobic. Yeah. Chopstick's great. Yeah. Yeah, it is. And especially once it gets really active. Like once you get biology, like the real deal biology down in that soil, and it's the fungi and the protozoa, and if you can get those, I forget the name, shit. Why am I blanking on nematodes? Get the nematodes going, the protozoa going, all these different arthropods breaking down organic matter. They can tear shit up quick, and it breaks down that soil super fast. So this is why we have to top off every year We have to keep adding and building that soil up because it's breaking it down. I mean, that's how you know you've got really good biology going, is because your soil is constantly breaking down. It's contracting on itself. So this is where the old broad fork comes into play. We, we want to break those up, and then that's adding air, and it's giving those microbes something to do now. So it's giving them actual purpose. Like they have a work job to do. The job is never done. It's always something to do down there, but they can get lazy. And once there's no food left, they get lazy. There's no water, the conditions get bad, everything gets lazy, it cysts up, and this is how things go hydrophobic. They can't uptake water anymore, therefore they just cyst up and they wait for the right conditions, and then they can poof back to life when the conditions get right again. It's like kind of like when it rains, you know what I mean? Like we have a drought and everything just goes bleh. And then it rains and everything's like whee, pops back to life. Same thing. Everything's cysted up, waiting for that rain to come. A lot of things do die. The things that can't survive, they'll die off. But it won't take long to come back. Especially like the grasses and the diachondra and all the things that are just hardy as hell, like hard to kill. Cannabis, what can grow anywhere, you know. Yeah, we got skinks in here. We got lizards. We got lizards in here. We had quite a few skinks. They're just hard to get on camera. I've got a few videos where I caught one over there on camera. I caught one here underneath this rock here the other day. But yeah, there's plenty of skinks in here. I think that's why I don't have an overload of isopods, and you don't see them. You really have to move something around to see them. Like if I didn't have skinks and like these types of animals or lizards and stuff to eat the isopods would take over the whole room. Like you literally have to move something, like this rock here. Those are dairy cows. And then the worms. See the worms just running through earwig. So this is what I'm talking about, a home. So we create a home for everything. And once we create that environment for them to thrive, they thrive on their own, and everything just goes as planned, we hope. The pests, thrips here and there. The pests really I haven't had any powdery mildew issues. That bush over there can get powdery mildew, but I have not seen any powdery mildew on anything but that bush over there. And that's really, I see it only when I lower the temperature and the humidity stays around 60. That bush will get powdery mildew, but nothing else will get it. It's crazy. That thing is susceptible to powdery mildew. But I haven't seen it on anything else. Like right now, I don't see any powdery mildew on that because I'm 83 degrees and it's 60% humidity in here. So my VPD is around 140-ish, 1.4, 1.35, somewhere around there, which is pretty good. I mean, a lot of people want to be lower than that, around the 1 to 1.1, somewhere around in there, but we hover around the 1.2 to 1.3 range. No, the temperature around here has been crazy. I mean, outside dictates kind of a little bit in here, but I was 82 degrees outside the other day, and now I'm 51 today. So, it's just been this roller coaster. That's normal kind of around here, but we had a hard winter this year. We had a lot of ice, some snow, very cold. We had like 3 weeks of 12 degrees, which we never get. My pipes froze for the first time in years. And in fact, the first time I can think of in probably 20 years. It's like the late 90s since we had that ice storm. But in here, I range from 80. Well, it depends, on I'm in veg right now, so I'm up around 80 to usually 79 to 80, 81. Humidity stays around 60, 58 to 62. Always got to keep the water flowing, maintain the pump. That's about it, you know, basic stuff. Insulation, well, I've got this farmer's plastic on most of all except for down at the bottom down there because I couldn't wrap the whole thing because I needed ventilation or else the plastic would sweat. But then we've got this board, this this is the garage door, so that's that insulation board. I forget what it's called, green stuff. But then I left it off down there. Put it back there. We got insulation in the roof, but it's just an old garage. My granddad built this back in 1952. Slab of concrete. I put the floor in before I was going to do any of this, so that was a waste, but it is what it is. I shouldn't have put the flooring in, or it was the wrong type of flooring to put in for this type of thing, but I had no idea I was going to be doing this when I put it in there, so I was just trying to make it look decent. Trying to keep it looking nice, but it still looks nice. But like I said, there was padding underneath that, which was a pain in the ass at the beginning. I wish I had pulled it up, but I didn't. That's all I got today. I think, what time is it? Is it lunchtime yet? Feels like lunchtime. My stomach is growling. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. I appreciate that. Yeah, kitchen's... I'm having a drainage problem. Actually, having a guy that's supposed to come out here and put a drain pipe in for me sometime today. I can't get underneath the house. My granddad built the house, but he didn't. He built the hole to get underneath the house so small that I can't get underneath it. But I got a friend who's going to. Yeah, everything looks good in here. I'm gonna probably head on in and get something to eat here. So I appreciate everybody hanging out on this Saturday. I think it's Saturday. Is today Saturday? Yep. Today is Saturday. So I'm going to go enjoy some lunch, and I hope everybody goes and does the same and enjoys their rest of their Saturday. And we'll see you, probably might see you tomorrow, or we'll definitely see you tomorrow on the video. Not sure if I'll go live again, but to everybody that's here, I appreciate you. And we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.